Hola clase, soy el Señor D, here for another lesson from the smartboard. We're going to learn about conjugation today. And these notes are called conjugation notes. This is probably the second most important thing I've taught you all year. Taught you your pronoun chart, yo, tú, él, ella, usted, nosotros, ellos, ellas, ustedes. This fits right along with that chart, and it goes along with our verbs. So this is the beginning of really understanding and learning how to use verbs in Spanish 1. First key word that we're going to learn is infinitive. And that's an English word, and in Spanish it's called infinitivo. Here we're going to deal with infinitive. And what is an infinitive? It is a non-conjugated verb. That should say verb right there. I'm running out of room. A non-conjugated verb, or a verb that is not changed, or a verb in its natural state. So, what you really need to understand right now is that an infinitive is a verb, and this is Spanish infinitives, this is English infinitives. So I'm going to talk to you about both of them. In Spanish, there are three types of infinitives: AR infinitives, ER infinitives, and IR infinitives. And basically what that means is any verb in Spanish is going to end in AR, ER, or IR. So you've learned that nouns sometimes end in O, sometimes end in A. They really can end in any letter. But every single verb in Spanish will end with AR, ER, or IR. In this chapter, we'll be dealing with AR verbs. Here's what verbs look like in Spanish. Here's to talk. We're going to write to talk right now. Hablar. That means to talk. Here's the verb to eat. Comer. And the verb to leave. Salir. Or to go out. So look, this is AR, this ends in AR. This is ER, this ends in ER. This is IR, this is IR. So what do Spanish infinitives look like? They look like this: AR, ER, and IR. Those are verbs: to talk, to eat, to go out, or to leave. Now, in English, an infinitive looks like this. Always has to in front of the verb. Notice, to talk, that's an English infinitive. To eat, to leave. If we just say talk, that's not an infinitive. It has to have to in front. Okay, so now you understand what infinitives are. What does that mean for us? Well, let's scroll on down. Next keyword, conjugate. I will write the definition down and then we'll look at it. So it means to change the verb so that it agrees with the subject. Example, we change to run, which is an English infinitive, to runs when we are talking about one person. For example, Mark runs. We don't say Mark to run, we say Mark runs. To conjugate in Spanish, you know how to conjugate in English. You do it all day long, but you don't even realize you're doing it. But to conjugate in Spanish, you must first find the stem. So, for example, here's comprar, which means to buy. It's an AR infinitive. And then we're going to take off the AR. And then you have this left, and that is the stem. AR is the ending. This is the stem. All right, that's your first step to conjugating. Okay? So let's find the stem of these verbs. The stem of bailar is bail. The stem of buscar, these are verbs we're going to learn. You don't know what they mean just yet. Busc. Pagar. Take off the AR, we're left with that. Over here we have trabajar. I'm going to work right here. You can work on the right side if you want. Take off the AR, we're left with trabaj. And then mirar, take off the AR, we're left with mir. Alright, so that's your first step. You find the stem. This is the stem. We took off the AR, that's the ending. Keep scrolling down. Now, here we go with the boxes again. We use charts to keep this whole conjugation thing straight. And you must always match up the boxes. So, remember, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to look at our pronouns real fast. You're going to write yo, tu, and then we need 3 things down here. We need L with an accent, ella, and the infamous usted. We're actually, in this chapter, not going to use this side of the chart. So we're going back to singular. We're only going to deal with boxes 1, 2, and 3. We're in chapter 3 right now. We're only going to deal with 3 boxes. Next chapter, we'll get the other side. So that's good news for all of us. Here is the most important box of this chapter, the AR endings. And I'll show you how this works in a minute. But right now, we're going to write down O, as, and a. Clase, repitan, o, as, a. We say o, as, a. Those are the endings. Now, let's read what I have written right here. It says, first find the stem, then find the appropriate ending from the box. AR endings. Maybe we should write endings right here. Hang on one second, we have a visit. Okay, I was just in a conversation with Senora Hackenberg. So let's get back to where we were. I said, first find the stem, then find the appropriate ending from the box, the AR endings. I think we just wrote this word. Place the ending on the stem to conjugate. And then you have just changed the verb to agree with the subject, which is conjugating. So let's conjugate some of these. This says yo necesitar. You learned that necesitar means to need. So if I want to say I need in Spanish, I'm not going to say yo necesitar, because that would mean I to need. Because necesitar means to need. So let's just write yo right here. Yo is in box 1. The AR ending in box 1 is O. So let's find our stem. You can cut the AR off just like that. And you write yo necesito. So again, we took off the AR and we added the O. And if you have a different color, you could write it with a different color. To hablar. Alright, we just had another interruption. Senor Antonio came in here and said Senor D, and I yelled at him, and I don't know what was on the recording, but we'll find out later. Anyway, he's a good kid. So, here's to. Find our ending. Cross off the AR. Or don't find our ending, find the stem, which is alb. Then what is our ending for 2? Box 2, box 2. We have tu hablas. Next one says to sing. He sings. So let's write L. What box is that in? 3. Can't is our stem. I found that by getting rid of the AR. L is in box 3. O, as, a is in box 3. A. Él canta. He sings. Now, mira means to look at or to watch. So we write ella. Mir, what's the ending? Cross off the AR. What's the ending that goes with ella? A. Ella mira. And the last one that I'm going to do for you is usted, which is in box 3. Cross off the ending to find our stem. We'll write usted, busque, and we need the ending a. Be careful, this one's a trickster. And the rest of these you can complete on your own. Good luck, and I'll see you in class on Monday. Hasta luego.